Peace and blessings. Welcome to my channel. My name is Taj Utsi and I am a certified financial coach. I am also the founder of True Financial Coaching, where our mission here is to educate, enlighten, and equip individuals with the financial literacy that is needed in order to get off of the rat wheel. What is the rat wheel? The rat wheel is when one is constantly financing objects that go down in value for them, but up in value for the banks at the same time. The wheel is only powered as long as the rat is in motion. So when one is constantly financing depreciating objects, constantly financing cell phones and furniture and clothing and cars, things that go down in value, then they will continue to power that rat wheel. It's not until one wakes up and realizes that they are the rat that's powering the wheel, then they can create a plan to get off of the rat wheel. And that's what we do here at True Financial. We help you create a plan so that you can be free to do what you want, when you want, instead of having to do the things that you don't want. Today's video is coming on to talk about what many may already be familiar with, is the May 5th date, Cinco de Mayo, the May 5th date for all those student loan holders that are in default. That is the date that the government will begin garnishing wages. So if you have student loans that are in default, meaning you haven't been making payments on them and you are now behind and they passed them on into default status, then come May 5th, wages will be garnished. And from looking over some different articles and watching various videos on this, 15% will come out of your check if you are in default. And that's not just if you're in default while you're currently working and you have income from your job, but that's also Social Security, even disability. 15% will be coming out of your check. Now, with that being said, if the government is going to have some mercy on you. They're not going to take all your money, right? They have to leave you at 750, especially if you're on Social Security when your checks aren't that, great. But they're going to leave you with at least $750. But this is what I've been saying. The borrower is a servant to the lender. That's what Proverbs 22:7 say. And when you borrow money, you are in debt, and now you are a servant. You are an indentured servant to the lender. Who is the lender? The banks. The banks are the lenders. The government, they're the lenders. And they want to get paid. And it's sad because you have so many millions of Americans that are in default status. Millions of Americans are in default status. I believe I've read somewhere between 4 and 5 million Americans, somewhere around that amount, are in default status with student loans. So that means those individuals will be getting their wages garnished. And this is what I'm saying, like debt, especially student loan debt, that will follow you to your grave. Why? Because you agreed to forego future income when we signed up for those student loans. And a lot of people say, well, I didn't know, I was young, I didn't know. Ignorance is not an excuse. I do agree it is immoral when the government and banks, private loans, they have 18, 19-year-old kids signing off on student loans and not properly equipping them with the information that, look, okay, we're giving you this money now, but you're going to have to pay this back in the future. Yeah, I think more education and uh, resourceful sessions should be given to young people. But even still, that is not an excuse. It's not an excuse, because when you signed up to borrow this money, you knew that you had to repay it back. And I get it, some people's situations, everybody's situation is different. You got individuals that just can't pay it back. But 4 to 5 million people in default status, all those people are not unable to pay them student loans back. So the question is, what are we doing with the money that we're earning so that we're not able to pay these student loans back, right? And I can say this because that was me, right? I graduated school, 1999, 2000, 2000. I was on the 5-year program. It took me 5 years, right? I started, in 94? When I started, September of 94? Like, yeah, it's like I started college in September of 94. I think it was. I forget, man. When did I graduate? June and yeah, so September '94. My fault. So yeah, I finished May of 2000. 6 years. Went to school for 6 years. I was on a 6-year program. Went to school for 6 years, but I did take a year off. Took us half a semester off. Right, took a semester off. Then another down the line, took another semester off. So, but that was because finances, right? Couldn't afford it. So I took time off. Went back, whatever. But yeah, graduated September 2000, came out making a nice amount of money as a teacher at that time. I think it was about 40,000. I forget, about 40, between 35, 40,000 I was making as a teacher when I first started in 2000. But I was living at home, right, for the first couple of years of my career. I was living at home, and I had the money. I had the money. I had the money to pay off the student loans all at once. I had the money. But, I didn't take it seriously. Why? Because put me on a payment plan, make monthly payments, no guidance, right? No financial literacy where let me just take this money, pay it off, but I didn't do that. So what did I do instead? I carried those student loans for 23 years. 23 years I carried them student loans. I'm embarrassed to even say that. Over 2 decades, I had student loans from 2000 till I paid them off 2023, and I got most of them forgiven. But when I woke up, and that's what I said, it's not till one wakes up and realizes that they are the rat that's powering the wheel. I woke up. I woke up. And I shared this before. COVID woke me up. Woke up in COVID, got my finances in order, created a budget, established an emergency savings fund, started working on the debt snowball. Knocked off all the little debts, got down to the car payment, student loan, knocked off the car payment, and was just going hard at the student loans during the time of COVID, where there was no interest being taken, being accrued. That was the time to pay off the student loans. 4 years the government gave us to pay off the student loans. 4 years. A worldwide pandemic caused a 4-year pause on interest for student loans. That was the time to pay off the student loans. And what's deep for me is that and this is the mindset that people in debt have, right? Because again, when you're in debt, you don't even realize that you're in debt because you think it's so normal. It's just normal, but it's not normal. It's not normal. So when I first got the email saying that you don't have to make payments on your student loans, I was like, yes. Why? Because I had the slave mentality. I had the debt slave mentality. So to me, it was like, All right, I don't got to make payments. I got extra money. I can do this. I can do the other. Not realizing that was the time to go hard at the student loans. And I remember even seeing the email. They said I had mine with Great Lakes. And I remember Great Lakes sending me the email saying, all right, the pause on the student loan, you don't have to make the payments. Um, yeah, and now you have extra money to do whatever. And I was just, that's just what I was thinking. Like, I got extra money. And here I wasn't even making the student loan payments consistently. Wasn't even making the student loan payment consistently. But in my mind, that's extra money. That's the program. That's the slave mentality. That's the debt slave mentality, right? But then again, like I said, I woke up. I woke up. Once I paid off every debt except for my student loans and my mortgage, I just went hard at my student loans. I went hard at them. During COVID, that was the time to pay them off. I went hard at them. I think I had like 4 student loans. 3 of them was like undergrad. I had a one grad because I had took graduate class a couple of years prior to uh, COVID. But man, once I woke up, I just attacked them. I paid a couple of them off. I think I paid like 2 of them off, and then I did the process for the public service loan forgiveness (PSLF). That got approved, got them all wiped out. But even if that didn't work out, I would have still had them paid off. And this is what I mean about being intentional, and just going hard at it. But we had 4 years, 4 years to pay off student loans. And I know individuals, teachers that I work with student loans. And I remember being in a Zoom meeting we had during that time, and everybody was talking about, the pause or whatever. But it was this one girl on there, and at the time, I was, still working on my debt snowball. I wasn't at that point to my student loans, I don't think. But she was saying she was the only one in the call that said, I'm paying off my student loans. Now's the time to do it. Everybody else was like, I ain't gonna have him. I ain't gonna pay him off. They just gonna, people say I'm gonna die with him. I'm gonna keep him all my life. This, that, and the other. And they right. They right. But she was the only one that said, she said I'm living at home with my mom, and I'm just attacking my student loans. She did the right thing. She did the right thing. And all those that paid off them student loans during that time, they did the right thing. They don't have to worry about wage garnishments now, right? Here you went to school for 4 years, 5 years, 6 years. And I'm just talking about me, but there's others like that too. Go to school 4, 5, 6 years, carry your student loans for 20 years, 25 years, finish a whole career. Went to school for 4 to 6 years, did a whole career, 25, 30-year career, and still got student loans debt in retirement. And like I say, you may be retired, but that debt ain't retired. Them student loans ain't retired, because if you don't pay them, you will pay them. Sound crazy, right? But it's the truth. If you don't pay them, you will pay them. And how is that? We already see it. May 5th, Cinco de Mayo, May 5th, garnishments. They taking people money out of Social Security. They taking Social Security money. Wages being garnished from Social Security checks. Somebody say the government don't care. The government don't care. They shouldn't do that to the old folks. Yeah, I mean, hey, it's business. It's business. And I get it. I do. I get it. Like, you got people out here that's, you know, struggling. But again, The borrower is servant to the lender. The borrower is servant to the lender. You will be an indentured servant till the day you pay off that debt. And if you don't, you're going to die a slave. That's deep. People don't even see it like that because it's so normal. It's become so normalized to carry student loan debt. I mean, this, like I said, going back to that girl in the conversation and the Zoom call, she said, I'm staying at home. And that's what I recommend. If you coming out of school, 21, 21, 22 years old, just starting your job, your career, live at home as long as you can. As long as your parents have you there, give your parents a little bit of money, just give it to them. Why? Because now you training your mind so when I get out on my own, you know how to pay rent. But give them a little bit of money, a couple of $100 if making some money, and just attack that student loan debt. Don't worry about going out. See, the problem with a lot of people, not a lot, well, some people, when they get a new job after they graduate, now they want to show off. They want to show off that, yeah, I graduated, I'm treat myself to this car, do this with that, travel, this, that, and the other. Like, you got time to do that. You got time to do that. Pay off them student loans. You just fresh out of college and you making $40,000, $50,000 a year. You got $22,000, $25,000 worth of student loan debt. Attack the student loans. Attack them. Now's the time. You living at home. You don't have no major expenses. You don't have no major expenses, no other debt. Attack them student loans. Because if you don't pay them, you will pay them. My rule of thumb, if you go to school for 4 years, it shouldn't take you more than 4 years to pay that back if you got to take out student loans. You go to school for 4 years, shouldn't take you more than 4 years to pay that back. You go to school for 5 years, shouldn't take you more than 5 years to pay that back. Some people will keep going to school. They call them lifetime learners or lifetime students. They take out loans and they keep going to school so they don't have to pay back the loans. That's a slave, man. That's a slave. That's a slave. You would never experience true freedom, freedom from the financial perspective. Because a lot of people think that financial freedom is having more. And it's not. Because you have people making six-figure earners, $10,000, $15,000 a month, living paycheck to paycheck. So financial freedom is not about having more, it's about needing less. It's about needing less. It's about needing less. Because, like I said, I know individuals, six-figure earners, living paycheck to paycheck. Living paycheck to paycheck as a six-figure earner. Whereas you have individuals living off of $20,000, $30,000 a year. I'm not saying that's how much they earn. I'm just saying that's how much they live off. That's how much they live off. I can live off $25,000, $30,000 a year easily. Easily. I can live off probably $20,000 a year easily. Why? Because I have no debt. I have no debt. Mortgage is almost paid off. Don't have car loans. I use credit cards, but I don't carry credit card debt. I don't finance cell phones. I don't make 4 easy payments on shoes and suits and shirts and pocketbooks. People do all that stuff. I don't buy pocketbooks, but I'm just using that as an example. I don't buy for myself. But I don't make 4 easy payments. I don't finance furniture. I don't do that. Right? So it's not about having more. It's about needing less. Because it's not expensive to live. Life is not expensive. We make it expensive. We make it expensive because of the constantly financing, trying to keep up with the Joneses, as they say, trying to keep up with the latest trend, the celebrities and the fads and the latest. They got to get the new iPhone. What's wrong with the iPhone that you got? It's only last year's model. You trying to get a new model, and you only had this one for a year, and it just only thing that's different is a camera, probably. That's it, and the camera that you barely use, but you financing these objects that go down in value, financing cars every 2 years, getting gap insurance on the vehicle. Gap insurance, it's called gap insurance for a reason. Why? Because the value of the car goes down, but you owe more because of interest. Doing what? Creating the gap. Gap insurance is only for people that are in debt. I don't need gap insurance. Don't need it. Why? Because I don't finance cars. And this is what I'm saying. When you change your mindset, your life will change. Your financial life will change. But getting back to the student loans, if you are in default, you better get out of default. You better get out of default. How do I do that? Easy. You got to contact your service provider. Contacting. Try to, consolidate the loans. And again, I'm not really a big fan of debt consolidation, but for student loans, yeah. That's the only time I would recommend somebody doing debt consolidation. That's the only time I would recommend somebody doing debt consolidation. One of the only times, right? Because what happened if you this is what's going to happen. May 5th, wage garnishment. So try to get the debt consolidation, call them up, make an arrangement where you can, get some type of get on the program where if you make X amount of payments consecutive, they'll get it out of default. You can do it that way. Get the Fresh Start program. Look that up. Fresh Start program. Or just make the whole payment. But if you're in default, man, you better do something quick before May 5th, because the government is not playing. And this is what I'm saying. I've spoken with, like I said, I've spoken with teachers. I'm a teacher. Spoken with teachers, and I've heard teachers say, "I'm going to die with student loan debt." Saying, "I'm going to die with student loan debt." As I said before, what are they saying? I'm going to die a slave. I'm going to die a slave. Because the borrower, again, is servant to the lender. You're going to die an indentured servant. What's sad is schools push college to a lot of young people. They push college to young people. And I always said college is not for everyone, right? It's not for everyone. And it's not the only way to make earn a good income. Does it help? Yes. But when you are constantly being programmed, college, 4-year degree, master's degree, doctor's degree, that's a program. It's a program. And the schools, television, media push this program. For what purpose? Keep people in debt. To keep people in debt. Because now you sending 18, 19-year-old kids, 17, 18, 19-year-old kids into these institutions, higher institutions of learning, and you're not properly equipping them on how to utilize the money that they're going to earn to pay off the student loan debt. I don't recall, I went to school, I went to 2 schools. I went to Howard University, and then I transferred to Temple University. And I don't recall having one class out of the years that I went to school to teach me about budgeting, about money management. I was an education major. When I was at Howard, I was a accounting or business major, whatever. But I don't remember in one class about personal finances out of the time I went there. I had a macroeconomics, whatever, but about personal finances, not one class. And just what I'm saying, the universities, the colleges, these institutions of learning are teaching these kids all these other subjects, Shakespeare, Plato, whatever. Like Shakespeare, come on, man. It's the 21st century. Why are we still reading about Shakespeare? And you're pushing all these subjects and topics, but what about personal finances? What about how to budget? What about how to build an emergency fund? What about how to pay off debt? What about investing? What about retirement accounts? Why are these not subjects not taught in the high schools and colleges? Why? If they are, I haven't had a class. I don't know anybody that's doing it. It may be, but I don't know of any. And this is what I'm saying. You got these kids going to school for classes that for in fields that, okay, how am I going to get a job in this field of basket weaving? You know, offering majors that, like, come on, they're not going to bring in a good, reasonable income. And even if I do go to get a degree in a field that might, whatever, account, whatever, right? I know individuals that have majors in certain fields and they ain't even working in the fields they went to school for. Why is that? Why is that? It's sad. The exploitation of these young people, they sign these kids up for these student loans. When you go on campus, you see credit cards, tables. I remember when I was at Temple, I would see credit card things all the time, man. All the time. Credit card companies out there setting up their tables. Come sign up, get a free T-shirt, get a free mug, a free thermos, a free lanyard. Like, come on. The colleges allow these credit card companies on their campuses to do what? Sign up future debt slaves. Promise 18 years old kids promising income they haven't even earned yet. It's all a program. It's all a program. It's designed, the system is designed to make workers, to make slaves. And as I said before, slavery has not ended. It has only evolved. It has only evolved. Only evolved. And we don't even realize it. We don't even realize it. We don't even realize it. Why? Because it's become so normalized. And it's not normal. It's not normal to carry student loans for 25 years and you only went to school for 4 years. That's not normal. To carry student loans for 25 years. Your student loans are your oldest debt. Your student loans are older than your children. You done had a family, raised kids, got grandkids, retired, and you still have student loan debt. That's a disgrace. It's a disgrace. And I'm not belittling anyone. because that was me. I was in that boat. Had my student loans for 23 years, from 2000 to 2023 is when I paid them off. Most of them off, and got a large portion of it, a majority, a portion of it off, but got a large portion of it, forgiven. But even still, it took me 23 years to get rid of that. But when I woke up, it only took me 3 years. See, that's what I'm saying. I woke up 2019, 2020. 2019, I woke up. 2020 is when I started my plan. It was done in 2023. 2.5, 3 years to eliminate that. And that's what I mean. When you get the mind right, you change your mindset, shift your mind, your thinking, and you go at it, you can get it done. People say, I ain't gonna never get the student loan debt done. See, with that mindset, you won't. You won't. With that mindset, when you say, but I ain't never gonna have my student loans paid off, you won't. You won't. Folks is looking for a windfall of money, hit the lottery, something else outside of them to eliminate debt. I hear folks say, don't pay off your student loan debt. Why pay off your student loan debt when the interest rate is low? Instead, just take that money and invest it in a stock or real estate and, use the profit to pay off the debt. How has that worked? How has that worked? This is what I hear. And you know what? At one point, I had that mindset too. I had that mindset. Now, honestly, do you really think a person that's been carrying student loan debt for 20 years is going to be able to invest in something outside of themselves and take that money to pay off student loan debt? Nope. What they're going to do? Keep the debt. Keep the debt. Why pay that off? It's been here all this long. But this is what they think. I'm going to invest in something. I'm not going to pay off my student loan debt because the interest rate is low. Instead, I'm going to invest in this other product or stock or whatever, make money, and then use the profit to pay off the debt. How does that work? For the majority of the people, and I'm only talking to the majority. I'm not talking to the minority. I'm talking to the majority, because when you have 4 to 5 million people in default status, that's the majority. That's the majority. Because you're always going to have somebody say, well, I did it. I know somebody that did it. Yeah, out of how many people? Out of how many people? The majority of the people probably don't even know how much debt they have. Majority of the people don't scared to even look at the debt that they have. They even scared to open up the credit report. When I say credit report, I'm not talking about the credit score. Credit score means nothing. It's an I love debt score. I'm talking about the credit report. All the list of lenders, all the list of the people that own a part of the business of you. Open that up. And then I see, and show me your credit report. And then I can see why you saying, oh, don't pay off your student loan debt. Just take that money and invest it, because the interest rate on the student loan debt is low. I see why you're saying that when I see your credit report. Yeah, I see why you talk like that. Because when you have no debt, you're not going to talk like that. You're going to advise and encourage people to pay off that debt. Why? So they can experience the freedom. You can experience the freedom of not owing anybody. That's freedom, man. That's financial freedom. That's financial peace, where I'm not scared to open up my mail. I don't even get mail no more. I don't even get mail. I get junk mail. I get junk mail. I get mail saying I paid my utilities or whatever. I don't worry about opening up a bill, a debt, a credit card statement with debt. I don't worry about that. I don't have to screen my calls for debt collectors. I don't got to worry about that. And that's what I'm saying about that peace. About that peace. Yeah, everybody got problems, but some of these problems we can eliminate. We can eliminate these financial problems that a lot of people having. You can eliminate that. How? Creating a budget, establish a savings account, savings fund, and a high yield savings account, eliminating the debt, save more, build up your emergency fund more, and then invest. As I often say, you cannot invest in something outside of yourself before you invest in yourself. You're doing it backwards if you do it any other way. You must first invest in yourself before you invest in anything outside of yourself. Because when I'm paying off my debt, that's an investment in me. That's an investment in me. All that money now that I was putting out, your student loan debt is $400 a month. You eliminate that debt, that's a $400 a month return on your investment. As I said before with the mortgage, I did a mortgage video. Why should I pay off my mortgage? Should I pay off my mortgage early? I did a video on that, showing you the return on investment by simply paying extra on your mortgage. There's no stock out here that's going to give you a better return on your investment than a paid off home. Nothing. Nothing. I haven't found one. And if you found one, put it in the chat, put it in the comments. Let me know. Let me know. If you haven't watched that video on should I pay my mortgage off early, check it out. I did a mortgage calculator showing how much money you can save on interest. Paying off debt is an investment in yourself. And like I said, because if you don't pay it, you will pay it. And that's proven by what the government is doing on May 5th. Cinco de Mayo. Cinco de Mayo. Wage garnishments will go into effect for those that have student loans in default. Mm, mm, mm. Mm, mm, mm. They gave us 4 years. They gave us 4 years. They gave us 4 years. That was the time to pay it off. It took a worldwide pandemic. When's the next time that's going to happen? It took a worldwide pandemic. COVID was a reset. That was a reset. That was a reset. That was a reset. But you know what most people did with their money? Spent it on DoorDash, spent it on Amazon. Why? Because they were stuck in the house. They were stuck in the house. That was the time. That was the time. A lot of people took it, wasted it. Now, payday is up. Payday is here. May 5th. Think about that, man. 4 years. 4 years to pay off that debt. People thought they had extra money. Now think about it. The money that you could have put towards the debt, where is that at? Where is that at? What did you buy with that money that you could have used to pay off your student loan debt? I get it. You had to eat. I get it. Right? I get it. I'm like people with some hard times. I get it. But you had individuals that were still making money. Majority of people still getting paid. And no, again, I'm not talking about individuals that I ain't have nothing. I wasn't working. I ain't had nothing. I get that. But you had individuals that were making money still. Like I said before, it starts with the way of things. It starts with the mindset. You change your mind, you will change your life. And that's with anything. Anything. Your weight, your spiritual walk, your life. You change your mindset, you will change your life. And this is why you got to turn off all the noise. It's a lot of noise. People on YouTube and TikTok, Insta, Insta scam. Everybody got some type of financial advice to give on how to beat the system. Do you think the system going to allow you to beat it? Do you really think the system is going to allow you to beat it? This system is well thought out. The system won't allow you to beat it, but people are always trying to get over to beat the system. And that's how you know when people got financial advice that don't make sense and you know it don't make sense, it's not you, it's them. You're right. It doesn't make sense. So if it doesn't make sense, then how can it make financial sense? How can it? People trying to they something I was looking at something called I think called trade lines or something like that, where like my brother was telling me about. I heard about it before, but where you're trying to get your credit up, so you get on somebody else's credit. They make you like an authorized user, and you can use their whatever credit or something, and it goes to counts towards you. Some foolishness, something that doesn't make sense. Why would I? A middle person links you up with a person with good credit, and you use their line of credit or whatever, so you can build your credit up. That doesn't make sense. Why would I give my information, allow somebody to use credit, my credit card, or whatever that has bad credit? Why would I do that? That doesn't make sense. But people do it. People do it. Doesn't make sense. That's what I'm saying. You're trying to beat the system. You think the banks don't know this? You think the banks don't know this? You think the banks don't know that people think they homeowners with mortgages? The banks want you to believe you're a homeowner with a mortgage. You just don't know you're a homeowner. That you just don't know you're not a homeowner with a mortgage. Because as I said before, homeowners don't make payments. How can you be a homeowner with two mortgages on one house? You have two mortgages on one property. That don't make sense. And yet you call yourself a homeowner. But they say, well, I have own the equity in the house. No, you don't own the equity in the house. The banks own the equity in the house. That's why you have to take out a home equity line of credit. It's a loan. If I own my home, I don't have to take out a loan. I own it. It's like I have my money in a bank account. That's my money. I don't have to take a loan out on my own money. Why? Because it's mine. I own it. Only reason I need a loan is because I don't have the money. So if you call yourself a homeowner, why are you taking out a loan on equity? You know why? Because it doesn't belong to you. You don't own the equity in the home. The banks own it. But when you tell people that, why? Because the banks program people to believe they own a home that they're making payments on. Homeowners don't make payments. But people think they're going to beat the system. As they say in Vegas, the house always wins. I don't gamble, but I heard the saying. The house always wins. The banks always win. And the banks are not evil. It's just business. It's just business. It's just business. So if you got student loan debt that's in default, jump on that. Take care of that. If you're a young person and you about to graduate or have graduated, take care of that student loan debt. Don't keep that student loan debt for 20 years, 25 years. Live at home. Keep living like a college student until that debt is paid off. Don't worry about trying to show off to the world that you graduated and now you can go finance a Lexus or a Benz or whatever. Nope. I God, if you if you live in a city with public transportation, and don't be ashamed to take public transportation until you can buy your car outright. Oh man, this is unreal, man. The system, man. This system is wickedly brilliant, and I don't even want to say wickedly brilliant because that's my feelings. Whoever designed this system, man, is brilliant. It's brilliant. It is. To have people believe that homeowners with mortgages, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. To have people believe that it takes 30 years to pay off a house, one house, that's brilliant. Now they even got 40-year mortgages. That, to make people believe it takes 30 years to pay off a house, one house. To make people believe that you have to die with student loan debt. To make people believe that you got to finance a cell phone. Hmm. To make people believe that it takes 72 months to pay off one car. To make people believe that you can pay a shirt in 4 easy payments. Like, this is brilliant. It's a program. It's a program. This is why they don't teach these subjects in schools. Schools were designed to produce workers. Why do you think the school day mimics the work day? 8 hours in school, 8 hours at work. 5 days of school, 5 days of work. Holidays off, weekends off in school, holidays off, and some weekends off at work, depending upon your schedule. Uniforms at school, uniforms at work. Sit down and follow instructions without questioning. Sit down and follow instructions without questioning at work. It's all a program. You're in kids' school, thank God it's Friday in school, thank God it's Friday at work. Friday is no different than Monday. Why don't we say thank God it's Tuesday? You know why? Because when people say thank God it's Friday, what they really saying is I hate my job and I don't want to be here no more. That's what thank God it's Friday means. I hate my job and I don't want to be here anymore. Because like I said, when I was on my sabbatical, I forgot what day of the week it was. I was losing track of time. The only really reason I remembered what day of the week it was because it was service nights, church nights. But outside of that, I would forget. I would wake up and like, dang, I'll go through the day like, what day is it? Thank God it's Friday is only for people that hate their jobs. Hump Day Wednesday is for people that they don't want to be there either. Hump Day Wednesday is for people that don't want to be at their workplace. That's what that is. I can help you get free. I'm doing it. I did it myself and I'm still doing it. I'm helping others. I can help you get free. I can help you create a plan, but you got to do it. You got to do the work. I can help you create the plan, but you got to do the work. But if you want to be free, come visit me. Come visit me at truthinkcoaching.com. Set up your 30-minute consultation and see where we can help you at. Then we can go forward to getting you on the track to become free to do what you want when you want so you don't have to do the things that you don't want. Peace and blessings.